Hey everybody, it's Comic Book Hangover. It's time for my weekly haul, weekly review video. I do this and have the video posted every Thursday, so let's just jump into it, alright? Now, last week, picked up a handful of books. There's a couple I kind of want to talk about. The first one is going to be this facsimile edition. This is actually kind of cool. I've never actually been able to read this issue before, and I like the fact that they're doing facsimile issues still. I wish they would kind of do more true believers, but facsimiles are what we're going to be dealing with for the foreseeable future. I'll be okay with it. I just have one request. I wish Marvel would do a facsimile edition for Marvel Spotlight number 5, first appearance of Ghost Rider, because it's the one that I'm never going to be able to afford an original of, and I like to have it in my collection one way or another. So a Marvel Spotlight number 5 facsimile edition would be an amazing thing to have. But this one was actually kind of weird because I was reading it, and this book came out in 2011 originally, and it's kind of weird to have a facsimile edition of a book that's basically pretty recent. All the advertisements in it were recent, and there's even an advertisement in there for the Green Lantern movie that came out in 2011. So it was kind of weird having a DC advert. Excuse me, a DC advert in a Marvel comic. But, you know, that's the charm of the facsimile editions. Also from last week, second issue of Lucky Devil from Cullen Bunn and Dark Horse Comics. This continues the story of this guy. He was possessed by a demon, and through a discount exorcism, he gets rid of the demon, but he kept the demon's powers. And this issue here, he continues to grow his cult. He's decided to use his powers to help those who are sort of downtrodden get what they feel they deserve. And while he's doing this, he's also approached by a satanic church, like I guess one of the biggest satanic churches in the country, who have been losing followers and see that this dude is gaining followers. And his suggestion is, hey, why don't we work together? And I don't think it's going to happen. But on top of that, we've also got other demons from hell that are coming in to get this guy's powers. And I guess they're going to want to use his powers to sort of take over hell as well. And then the original demon is trying to work with this guy, obviously, to get his powers back. But this is a really interesting series. I think it's only a 3 issue, so we got one more issue to go, if it is. But a really fun, interesting series. If you're a fan of Cullen Bunn, who is also doing the Basilisk series, you got to check it out. It's a lot of fun. The last one from last week that I want to talk about is Geiger number 6. Now, this was an extended issue. It's a lot thicker than the other ones, and it's also $1 more cover price. So this is $4.99 cover price. This is the cover that I picked up, because this is the cover that I really like. Now, this is the last part of the first storyline, and I haven't looked up to see when issue 7 is coming out. Yeah, this is issue 6. Yeah, I haven't looked up to see when issue 7 is coming out. I have a feeling it's not going to be for a while, because there's this whole thing in there called The Unnamed and the Unknown War. And I guess this is sort of a universe building book. Geiger is the first one to be introduced in this. In this issue here, we're introduced to this robot soldier called Junkyard Joe. And sometime next year, Junkyard Joe is going to get his own one-shot, and they're going to sort of explain his backstory, which is kind of interesting. They also made references in this issue to other characters throughout time, and I guess it's all going to tie together in this big, long storyline, this sort of contained universe. So it's going to be interesting. If you're a fan of Geiger, I think the next thing that's coming out is sometime, it's maybe November, December, maybe next year. There's an 80-page giant coming out that I'm assuming is going to move his story forward a little bit, but also kind of, I'm hoping, give us an idea of what this whole unnamed thing is really all about. But it seems rather interesting. At the end of this issue, the back part of it, where all the advertisements are, there is a timeline that shows you where all these characters are in the timeline and how they sort of coincide with wars throughout history. But as far as Geiger itself goes, I mean, we did wrap up the first storyline with him and the 2 children. We saw the downfall of Camelot and their king. There's one less city in the United States now, so they wrapped up really well the introductory portion, I guess, of this reality building series. So we're able to move forward with this new stuff. And I'm actually kind of excited about this. I'm very curious where this is going to go, because it's been a while since we've had anything that's new, that's world building. I know Spawn has this Spawn universe thing that's coming, but Spawn's been around for 20, 30 years. And he was introduced in 1992, if I remember right. But the idea of his sort of shared universe, that reality has already been built on, and it's got established characters, it's got established concepts, it's got established rules. This Geiger thing and this unnamed thing, it's completely new, so it's kind of like jumping in at the deep end. And I'm really curious to see where that's going to go, because I like the book Geiger. It's kind of sucks that it's coming to an end, but I'm assuming they're going to continue it. I don't know if they're going to continue with a new number 1, if it'll be like a series of mini-series, or if they're going to continue the numbering or not, but I'll be on board for it. It was a really fun read. I do recommend it. Now, before I get into this week's haul, which is only 5 books here, so Full Run Friday will be tomorrow. As always, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it. Thinking of doing the next round of Fables, which would be Jack of Fables, which is like a 50-issue run. But I may do that. There's a couple other books that are kind of in the back of my mind that I want to do. So we'll see what I decide on. I'll be just as surprised as you guys are when I start doing the video. Also, before I jump into these, if you like my videos and you like what I'm doing, please like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that notification button. So that aside, let's show off the books that I picked up this week. First off, from Vault, first issue of a series called Dead Box. Now, this book has been pushed back a couple of times. When I do the final order cutoffs from my LCS on their Facebook page, this book has come up a couple of times. So I was really surprised to see that it actually, in fact, exists, and it came out. So I'm very curious. I think it has something to do with like a cursed VCR, cursed VCR, something like that. But it was an interesting idea when I read this, listened to it, so I'm going to check it out. The next up from Boom is going to be Mighty Morphin number 11. And I think Mighty Morphin, we're focusing on Zed's origin now, which still, I'm wondering if they're going to somehow reconcile that with what little bit of his origin was sort of teased in that Power Rangers annual a few years ago. From DC Black Label, Nice House on the Left, book 4. Still really enjoying this book. Next up, and probably my favorite cover of the week, Elvira Meets Vincent Price number 2, the Elvira photo cover. Normally I don't get photo covers, but my understanding is she's doing new photo covers that are just, more recent stuff that they're using first time for this series here. So if that's true, that's great. If not, I mean, these are still some great covers. I love some Elvira. She's always been one of my favorite celebrities, one of my favorite character concepts, whatever you want to call it. She's always been a favorite of mine, and anything that she puts out within reason, I'm going to do what I can to get it. And for the last 2, some Marvel books. When was the last time I got a Marvel book? Who knows? It's been a while, right? So Defenders number 2. I wound up enjoying the first issue, and this is only a miniseries. I think like a 5-issue miniseries, but it's really interesting. I mean, the last issue, it did end up in the previous universe, because the way it was explained was the reality that existed before the current 616 Marvel universe was destroyed by a basically like a plague. Was wiping out everything and destroying the reality. And Ta was one of the last planets that existed, and its people were a very technologically advanced race, and they were trying their damnedest to try to figure out how to stop this thing. One of the last remaining members on that planet was an individual called Galen. Galen wound up being the sole survivor of that universe, and the essence of the universe, I guess you could sort of say the eternity of that universe, decided to do what it could to save Galen, and said, you will, go forth onto the next reality and be my instrument of revenge. And he, I guess he reformatted, he recreated Galen. And for centuries, the first millennia or so of the existence of the 616 universe, Galen was in this sort of incubation chamber. And there was a watcher there that knew what it was, kind of had an idea what was going to happen, had an opportunity to stop it from happening, but didn't because he was a watcher. And then eventually the thing opened up and out came Galactus. And I think he wound up refitting, he changed his incubation chamber and maybe the planet that he was orbiting, I'm not sure, but he built this world ship, which he called Ta. It was named after his home planet. But this one here, the Defenders somehow end up in that previous universe. And so we're going to see Galen again before he became Galactus, but apparently his mother, Galen's mother, is still alive. So I'm that alone, I'm just super curious to see what's going to happen with that. And I'm hoping they're not going to try to rewrite Galactus's origin. I know Donny Cates already tried to do that with his stupid Black Winter concept, where the Black Winter, like Galactus was the herald of the Black Winter or some nonsense like that. I don't know. It was a dumb idea, to be honest with you. One of the dumbest ideas I'd heard recently, and I'd sooner forget all that crap happened. So moving on. That book, the first issue, was pretty cool. The next Marvel book is it's one that I only picked up. I picked it up for a specific reason. Now this is Excalibur number 23. This is the variant cover. It's got Doom on the cover. I don't read Excalibur. I don't have an interest in Excalibur. The only reason why I picked this up, and it has no disrespect to the creative team on it, it's just not something I've ever been interested in. Okay, it's a personal choice. I've got nothing against the book. It's not. I have nothing against creators. I think it's Tini Howard that's writing it. I think. I don't know. She did the Death's Head miniseries a little while back and did an amazing job on it, really. But the only reason why I picked this up is because there's a small backup story that focuses on September 11th, and of course this Saturday is the 20th anniversary of the attack in New York. And, it's something that I reflect on a lot. I mean, in my lifetime, we had the dissolution of the Soviet Union. We had the Berlin Wall come down, the end of the Cold War. We had some great things, but we also had, some tragedies like the Challenger shuttle exploding after launch. I remember watching that live on TV, just like I remember watching the September 11th attacks live on TV and seeing all those people end in the blink of an eye. So this year is the 20th anniversary of it, and Marvel has decided, in all books, this book, Excalibur, which focuses on British characters from what I remember, there's a backup story where Captain America and Spider-Man 20 years later return to Ground Zero to pay their respects. And it is done by, I think, Joe Quesada and John Romita Jr., the same creative team who did Amazing Spider-Man 36 back in 2001, which was the September 11th issue of Amazing Spider-Man, the one that had the all-black cover, out of respect. So I picked this up just for that. I will read it. I may not read the main story of it, but I'm definitely going to read this one. So if you're wanting to, get some Marvel commemorative something about September 11th, this would be the book to get, because it's 20 years after that fateful issue and that devastating day in American history. And I know on the main cover there's a little circle, little cover blurb that's about 20 years later, September 11th. So for myself, this weekend is going to be kind of I'm going to try to keep myself busy for the most part. But yeah, September 11th is something that I think about quite a bit. But that aside, that's not what these videos are about. That's not what this channel is all about. So we're about comic books here. So, I just want to let people know that is out there if you are interested in it. So that said, thanks again for watching. That's going to wrap this up for this week. So I say thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed my comic books. I have been watching other channels. You guys know who you are. I'll be doing some more shout-outs. I'm going to try to do some shout-outs to channels maybe starting next week, just to kind of add something else to this video. So I'm going to be going through and looking at other channels and seeing, who's doing what. And, if I don't do a shout out for you, it's not because I think your channel sucks or anything. Okay, don't take it the wrong way. I'm only going to do maybe like one a week or one every other week or something. I don't know. I do want to kind of spread things out a little bit here and sort of give some attention to other channels. I mean, there's channels that I do watch regularly that I will be doing shout outs to more often than others. But I also noticed that I now have over 150 subscribers. I think I'm at 151. So you guys and gals who are new to my channel, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy what I do here. Please like, comment, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you have, like, comment, notification buttons, all that fun stuff. So I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. We'll see you tomorrow with Full Run Friday. Have a good night.